Pretty generous track conditions here in virtual upstate New York as we are underway and we start barreling down towards the 90. Gunter really sends it in there, nearly piles into the back of Reynolds.
Wow, the action has started early. That was awful close.
Oh, trouble in the back. One truck has gone around. I think it was Corey Rutherford off the front bumper of Jeremy McKinnon or Oz Canar.
Oh, wow. Schlosser makes a great pass around the outside here into the bus stop. That is a tough place.
That's to hang on to the third position. Kaluota starting to hound him. And speaking of hounding, Gunter all over Reynolds here, headed into the boot for the first time.
And this is a little bit of a redemption race for Gunter. If you remember, last time the Venom Truck Series was here at Watkins Glen, which in all reality really was not that long ago. Gunter was running well, and then the sim disconnected on him. It gave Brody Gunter the boot, if you will. So he is looking to capitalize here tonight, and a little bit of a redemption race for the 01. When you're coming through the carousel, Gunter looks to the inside here. Oh.
On driver's right through the bus stop, Gunter looking to take the top spot. He's loose. Reynolds might be able to hang tough on the outside here, and that would give him positioning into the left-hander. But Gunter with great drive out of the carousel assumes the race lead.
Wow. Oh, there goes Kyle Zittel.
Oh, man.
And Tyler Logan caught up in it as well. John Kay going to take a peek to the inside through the carousel, but will be on the outside here. Sends it off into the corner, though. Outbreaks Matt Schlosser.
That was an aggressive move there, and it pays off. John Kay to the podium. Really gaining running just inside the top.
Oh, John Kay's around.
Pit road as John Kay is backwards.
Oh, dear.
Trying to get this truck pointed in the right direction. Oh, boy.
He is going to lose a lot of time and positions now.
There's not really still a good place to get this turned back around.
He's pulled a Kyle Busch and backed it all the way into the corner to try to get turned around here. It was Roberts. Oh, and Flinky got pretty loose headed into the bus stop there, and you're right. Poliski disappears after the contact. Tires then.
Oh, Brody Gunter has crashed from the lead. Gunter into the barriers.
On exit of the bus stop, pulls up in front of Dean, so Dean tries to go high, but then Dean gets loose when he tries to get back on the throttle, and then hits the inside wall, bounces off, and then hits Gunter. Wow.
And there goes the new race leader, Matt Schlosser. What a sequence of events that has led Schlosser to be in this position. Well, our first night out here on the boot at Watkins Glen, it has certainly provided the thrills and the spills that we were hoping for in often unexpected ways. There may be no more unexpected outcome than a driver in their second career start taking their first career victory at Watkins Glen. Matt Schlosser is going to bring home the checkered flag, give the boot to Cancer, and give the win to Matt Schlosser. Everybody get out your phones right now. Have 9-1 dialed and be ready to press the 1 again. There are rumors abound that the Florida man lurks on the property here of what used to be a 3/4 mile short track in Lakeland, Florida. This property now sits abandoned with just a single warehouse amongst the dense swampland and forest. But over a decade ago, it housed one of the best short tracks in the United States. And how fitting that the third round of the 7th season here of the Venom Truck Series is our very first trip to the now defunct USA International Speedway, where you are very much encouraged to don't mess with Florida man. It's the Don't Mess with Florida Man 150, the first ever trip to USA International, here tonight on Turn 200. Howdy folks, it's Tommy Cook and our resident Florida man, Matt Williamson, who will be here with us shortly. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen you here on the channel. A week off for Halloween last week for a lot of the drivers who are parents and also some of the drivers who are young enough to still be trick-or-treaters. But round number 3 will bring us back in a big way here tonight at USA, one of the tough challenges of the season and what is a crazy schedule here. Looking at the points, speaking of youngsters, Nathan Palawota still the points leader after another podium finish last week at Watkins Glen. But there's another Nathan lurking about. The reigning series champion Nathan Reynolds has climbed up to second in the standings. He has moved Will Salamone down one spot. The unsurprising victory for Matt Schlosser in surprising fashion at Watkins Glen Boot has now moved him up 11 positions into a tie for third with the aforementioned Will Salamone. And Brody Gunter could very well be the points leader or knocking on the door of it right now if it weren't for those late race troubles. He falls down 4 positions into now a 3-way tie for 6th, heading into the short track. And again, this would normally be where we would show you past results and stats and figures from Venom Truck Series previous races at USA International, but this is our first trip to the short track. It's our first short track of the season, and it is sure to absolutely delight everybody who is hanging out with us here on Turn 200. So let's get to it. Coverage of the Venom Truck Series inaugural trip to USA International is around the turn on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Broken art I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. Welcome to live coverage of the Venom Truck Series at the Oxymoron Speedway, the international version of USA, for some reason. We're here at the defunct 3/4 mile short track. Me and Matt Williamson taking in all the action. It's a track that a lot of these drivers will have had to have driven on their way up through their licenses, but probably not with a truck is my guess. And it shows here in practice and qualifying. It's been a wild experience to take in here.
Yeah, most certainly not with the truck, probably at any point. And the setup with the truck, obviously, is going to be a little bit awkward, and we've heard as such from the drivers as practice has been continuing. Yeah, it's been interesting, like you said, to see, and I think the drivers are going to continue to learn throughout the race. So I think the driver that can learn the quickest and adapt the fastest is probably going to find their way towards the front here.
Now, you and I have taken in 2 1/4 seasons now of the Venom Truck Series, so I think we have some qualification here to speak on who we are going to be watching in this race, because there's a lot of unknowns, but what you can bank on at the end of the day, if anything at all, is some past short track experience here with the Venom Truck Series. So who are you going to be keeping your eyes on here?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think one that really comes to mind is John Kay. Even in the limited fashion that we saw him in Season 5, he won a short track race there. So, and we've seen him do well at Rockingham, among other places, sort of similar, obviously Bristol and other mile-long tracks as well. So I think he's going to be one that we're really going to look for here tonight. We also have some names like Brody Gunter that's put in some good laps here tonight, primarily known as a road course guy, but he's showing his way around the ovals this season as well. So it's a very, I think it'll be a very interesting group towards the front here tonight.
Yes, certainly. You mentioned John Kay and Brody Gunter. They're both in that sweet spot, whereas John was second quickest in practice. He was also second quickest in qualifying. Brody Gunter was third quickest in practice and has grabbed his pole for the first time in his career. 3 drivers to note that were quick in practice, not quick in qualifying. Fastest driver in practice, Carson Mitchell, starting outside the top 20. Nathan Paluota, 4th quickest in practice, 30th on the starting grid. Nathan Reynolds, 6th quickest in practice, 32nd on the starting grid. And tonight that Nathan Reynolds says he has no idea on what to expect, but he can expect to have to do a lot of work here in order to try and make his way through this 35 truck field for the inaugural outing for the Venom Truck Series at USA International Speedway. Pour one out, rest in peace, for the Lakeland, Florida venue. And since it's so fitting that it's Florida Man themed here tonight, Florida Man Brody Gunter with his first career pole in the Venom Truck Series, coming off of a rough outing at Watkins Glen, looking to bounce back big time here tonight. John Kay, one of the short track aces, will start on the outside of the front row. Andy Poliski, the Season 5 champion, is on the upward trajectory after a rough start to the season. He starts at 3rd. Tyler Logan, 2 top 10s to open the season for the rookie driver. He lines up at 4th. Speaking of rookie drivers, how about Matt Schlosser coming off the win at Watkins Glen? He lines up in 5th. Brantley Gainey turned the least amount of laps in practice. He starts in 6th. Luke Peterson, another short track guy to watch, and a car inside driver for tonight. He lines up in 7th. Chad Stearns will start in 8th. Ryan Dye and Kyle Zittel round out your top 10 starters. Oz Kanar on the inside, row number 6 with Jan Van Leer to his outside. Zach Lockett starts in 13th. Will Salamone, another short track guy, starting at 14th. Mark Dillon Jr., Michael Dean through the 16th starting spot. Steve Roman back there in 17th. TJ Bartell in 18th. Tyler Berger, Ryan Borboom round out your top 20 starters. Kevin Sargent, Carson Mitchell, Paul Ellison, Cole Maxwell, Austin Holyfield, Pascal Samarn through 26. Corey Rutherford, Kenneth Graves, Garrett Rainey, and Nathan Paluota back at 30th. Paul Sargent, Nathan Reynolds, 31st, 32nd. Kyle Dumick, Gary Clark, and Ethan Patterson, your 35 starters here tonight at USA International. Some brave drivers getting ready to take on 150 laps here tonight. What are they going to be watching for as this one rolls along, Matt?
Well, this is where we would normally talk about the fuel window, but I don't think it's really going to matter much here tonight. These drivers are going to want to pit for tires. Not sure about the length of the runs. We may see 2-stop strategies, may see 1-stop strategies, but we also might see a lot of cautions, which will dictate what kind of strategies we see as well. 150 laps here tonight, 3 extra sets of tires. 0 fast repairs. I think that one might come into play here. Oh, and the weather, 126 degrees is the track temperature. This mother is going to be slick and slippery.
Yeah, only like 50% humidity, though. Not realistic to Florida. But yes, red hot mama in terms of track surface temps. And this is going to be an exciting one, if only for the chaos, carnage, and calamity. It is sure to be abundant here as the pace truck works through turns 3 and 4. Just behind, it's Florida man Brody Gunter and spiritual Florida man John Kay leading the field to green at USA International. Good start for Gunter. Good start. Behind them as well, they're trying to get fanned out back from 4th onwards.
Peterson finally able to slot in here. Next battle is side by side. That's Ryan Dye in the McDonald's number 9, and Kyle Zittel on the outside here.
Just as the McRib is back, Ryan Dye is back after taking off at Watkins Glen last week.
Oh!
2 weeks ago.
For the outside wall. There goes Ryan Dye.
Oh, man. That was a locked and loaded jinx. Caution
did
not come out.
Caution doesn't fly. That was Zittel that got into the outside wall and punted Dye to the inside wall. And that's a concrete wall. That'll do some serious damage to the truck.
Well, Zittel and Dye both have the caution buttons at their disposal. Neither one of them pressed it. Auto caution's also on, but none of the 3 fail-safes there triggered. So we stay green here with an apology over the radio from Kyle Zittel to Ryan Dye.
Zittel's now battling with Oz Kanar. Carson Mitchell's working his way up through the field. Up 7 spots right now. Gives a little bit of a bump to Michael Dean. Steve Bowman, and there's a caution.
Trouble, I believe. Pascal Simard has gone around. Others checking up for the incident as well. Not 100% sure where that one started. I think Corey Rutherford may have gotten a piece of it, though. He has a meatball flag.
And right before that, Ryan Dye had entered pit lane, so some extended and lengthy repairs coming for the number 9. Let's take a look and see if we can figure out what happens here on this incident. Oh, and Pascal Simard gets a little bit of a right rear here. Or a left rear, excuse me. Into the corner and then back into the throttle as well. I believe that is Corey Rutherford. A lot of new paint schemes for the drivers here tonight, so we're going to be looking out for those, and indeed, that's Corey Rutherford that gets into Pascal Simard. The both of them will come in for repair.
Is there any chance we could dial up the Zittel Dye accident? I know it's probably buried at this point.
Let me see. Yep, here we go. Oh, and actually, I was wrong. From the camera angle I had, it looked like Zittel got into the wall, but actually just got loose off of turn 4. To the 53. Gets onto the straight, putting the power down, and that thing just turns left on him. Fishtails to try to save it, but gets into the 9, and Dye goes hood first. Oh, and actually almost jumps over pit lane wall.
Yeah, the first 15 to 20 laps of a run, you are loose in, loose off. Once you stop being loose off, you are immediately tight off. So no rest for the wary here at USA International. Unfortunately for Ryan Dye, he's gotten some extensive repairs. I believe Kyle Zittel also had a meatball flag to serve and did it rather quickly. So Zittel is back out. Actually, no. I was watching somebody else when that happened. That might have just been Ryan Dye, now that I'm thinking about it. They both have red-ish trucks.
Well, here's a look at Ryan Dye of the car inside cam. He's going to be one of our car inside drivers tonight, and he's going to have to wait a little bit before we can get him actually out on track with it.
Well, here's the thing, is that was caution number 1 on lap number 5. I will say, I think that opening stint went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. So I think he'll have the opportunity to pass some trucks if he would like to wait it out here. Just a guess, though, as we are getting doubled up here for the restart, coming to what will be lap number 11. All 10 completed circuits to this point have been under the control of Brody Gunter. John Kay still on the front row. Andy Poliski holding his own here in third. Tyler Logan, Matt Schlosser, the top 5. Pace truck is off. Brody Gunter is back in front in a big way here. So here's Poliski underneath, looking to take second away, and not going to be able to clear just yet. A little bit loose. Kay flirts with the wall, side by side for second.
Poliski tries to slide up in front of Kay. Kay fights back here. Schlosser's going to move up.
Poliski to second.
In the 5th.
Drivers on the move early here. Carson Mitchell up 9 positions already from where he started. He was very fast in practice. Watch for him to crack into the top 10 here momentarily.
Luke Peterson trying to get on the move here as well. He's working on Chad Stearns. Stearns lost 1 position to Schlosser, now in jeopardy of another one.
Oh! Door slam.
Definitely some contact there. That gives Stearns good entry into the corner. Now Jan Van Leer looks to the outside of Peterson.
Big move for Carson Mitchell into turn 1. Took it from the top to the bottom through 2 trucks. He is threading the needle, pushing his way up through the field here. Top 2 have started to break away. Single file 3rd to 5th. Some distance back to 6th, battling for 7th still.
More side by side. Peterson up the track just a little bit. And now behind them, Salamoni and Oz Kanar have started battling for the 9th position. Jan Van Leer has to slide in behind Peterson, so Peterson's able to save that one. Oh, wow.
Salamoni way out of it.
Nearly into the wall. He had to back way off. He loses 3 spots here.
Required repairs are complete for Ryan Dye. Looks like he is moving to get back onto the track. But he will be 9, now 10 laps down.
John Kay starting to slip backwards a bit. We saw Poliski get around. Tyler Logan's gotten around it as well. And now Schlosser's gotten to the inside.
Schlosser ran incredibly well at North Wilkesboro and Bristol in Truck 200. This is, of course, his first short track start with the Venom Truck Series. But again, running incredibly well here early in the going at USA.
Leader Brody Gunter already working through some lap traffic here. Side-by-side battle for 16th here as well. That's Michael Dean. Excuse me, this was for 15th. That's Zach Lockett with Michael Dean on his inside. Wow, and Ellison and Palawota both stuffing the noses in here. This is a race that's going to be an all-out brawl for 150 laps. There's pretty much no time. Oh, boy, Ryan Dye! They were 2 to 3 wide there when they got to Dye, who was slow on the top. Lockett had to back out of it. That was almost disaster.
Jan Van Leer has moved from the top now down to the bottom and has found his way underneath of Peterson now to try and take over the 7th position. Has it at the line, not quite clear just yet. And now clear.
Yep, now gets clear. Oskanar still knocking at the door as well.
So move JVL up 5 from the start of this race. Peterson, Kanar, and Zittel, the top 10. Zittel under fire here, though, from a hard-charging Carson Mitchell.
Yeah, and Zittel poked his nose, or tried to anyways, underneath of Oz Kanar. Kanar kind of cut him off a little bit. And back to the all-out brawl for 150 laps. There's just no time to stop here. Once you think you're kind of through, you got lap traffic to deal with, and it's going to be a mess. But the other thing is these laps click off quick, so everybody feels like they have to make their moves, and they have to make them now. You just really can't sit back and wait, or at least that's what it feels like anyways.
Another driver on his way up through the field is TJ Bartel, another driver who missed Watkins Glen as well last week. He's up +6, just behind Carson Mitchell here, the hard charger of the race. Nathan Reynolds is up 11 spots from 32nd to 21st. So he is slowly plugging away, still trying to get his way back into the top 20. Tyler Logan made the pass for third on John Kay. John Kay is right back to his tailgate here, though, and searching around the track already.
Yeah, John Kay was able to fight off Schlosser, and since then has been putting in some good laps.
Oh, so loose.
Mitchell still trying to work on Kyle Zittel, kind of peeked to the outside, going for the crossover, super loose out of 4. Bartel will get to the outside of him here.
Bartel trying to get up to 11th. We saw Jan make some pretty decent headway up top here in his battle with Luke Peterson a few laps ago. See if Bartel has got anything for Mitchell, who's been the fastest truck on the track the last few laps.
Yeah, I think if Bartel wanted to take this spot, he probably needed to do it right then.
Oh, no! Bartel loose into Mitchell, nearly up and over down the back straightaway. We're under the caution for the second time. And that is not surprising. I mentioned that the truck will tighten up out of the turn on the long run. We have yet to see that, though.
Oh, dear. And Mitchell back into the wall. I kind of missed what happened there.
He was just trying to get it going. I think the tires are either too hot or he's got some big toe-in damage, which, you know, would not be that surprising considering he was pretty much upside down at one point.
Yeah, that was definitely a big shot, that's for sure. Let's go ahead and rack up that replay for you. This is down through turns 1 and 2. We're going to see a lot of the same that happened between Dye and Kyle Zittel as well, as Bartel's trying to get this power down out of the corner. Seems like he's got it pretty straight, but Mitchell, as he comes up the track to try to use that side draft, Bartel was loose and off of the wall. Go ahead and rewind that one more time here, and we'll go ahead and try and see if we can go to the cockpit of Bartel. You see, he puts the power down. You feel the rear end start to slide out to the right on him. He had to get off the gas and was not able to get up towards the wall like he was normally running. And as Mitchell came up the racetrack for his normal line, those two just collided. And then as Mitchell just trying to get going here, he just slides it back out and hits the wall again. Pretty good racing so far. We weren't sure if we would get really many green flag runs at all to begin this, and they've been somewhat short, but have definitely been able to see some good action regardless.
3 drivers with damage to repair all hit pit road that time. Of course, Carson Mitchell, but also Corey Rutherford and Pascal Simard. Ryan Borbin, Mark Dillon Jr. also came down pit road under this caution. I think Mark Dillon Jr. had a problem that didn't bring out the caution, but it didn't necessitate him pitting under green, so he came down to get that fixed under the yellow here. To note as well, under that green flag run, right towards the tail end of it, Austin Holyfield picked up a meatball flag, but has since got it cleared, and he is back onto the track 3 laps down. Actually, now making 5 laps down.
Here's a look at Nathan Reynolds, who is up 15 spots now, up 17th. Started in 32nd. Really tough here, but he's been able to weather the storm. And looks to continue to march forward here.
And speaking of weathering the storms, twice Brody Gunter has been chewed up and spat out by Watkins Glen in his Young Venom Truck Series career. So hopefully he is all done and dusted with the bad luck, and he is doing a nice job up front with control of the field once again. Has led all 33 laps as Andy Poliski does not get a good restart on the outside of the front row. Oh, in trouble. Ethan Patterson has gone around. Others involved as well. I think Paul Sargent's got spun on the pit road there. And that is the third caution of the night. Cautions breeding cautions here, unsurprisingly.
Yep, we're trying to go with a little onboard restart there with Luke Peterson. The incident happens behind him. Into turn 3, ready to get going here. Oh, and Sargent just spins out. Very, very similar to what we saw with Carson Mitchell when he tried to get back going, actually. Just spins out, and man, he clips Ethan Patterson straight up into the wall.
That was such a sudden... I don't know if that was an equipment malfunction or if he maybe downshifted instead of upshifting, but that was such... Even in slow motion, that was just a jarring left turn.
Yeah.
Not saying it couldn't happen naturally, but it seemed odd, to say the least.
You're certainly correct. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go to the cockpit here and go full speed. And it didn't sound like any shifting at all right there. Not sure. Yeah, really kind of a weird incident there.
Yeah, Patterson had just put on fresh tires there at the tail of the field. Unfortunately, he's got a meatball flag. So that leaves us with 28 trucks on the lead lap. As to who's left running of those not on the lead lap, I don't know.
As Brody Gunter's scrubbing tires here, you see the right side of the truck lifting about 2 feet off the ground. And Andy Poliski, Season 5 champion, he's back for more. Wants to prove that he can win multiple championships. At this point, everybody in series history that's a champion has multiple championships except for him.
And what's funny about that is Poliski has finished second, I think, in seasons 3, 4, and 6 to go with his Season 5 championship. So he's been very close a number of times, as well as the time that he wasn't close, he just was. But this season has been tough for Poliski. Of course, he was involved in just about every caution at Daytona. Last week was running inside of the top 10 when some contact with Flanky Roberts sent him back out of the top 10. He rallied for a 12th place finish. That's by far the best of the season. So Poliski having a much better night here tonight, and a much needed one at that.
Yeah, most certainly, and he's just hoping he doesn't get caught up in anything here. He's getting good turn through the corners. Seems like he has this figured out pretty decently. It just hasn't had quite the speed that Gunter has, at least in the short run. Obviously haven't been able to see the long run yet, but we'll see if he has it.
Better restart for Poliski up front this time, but another great jump here for Gunter. Top 4 single file, side by side for 5th. Schlosser and Stearns going at it here.
Schlosser with the advantage on the inside, dives nearly to the inside of John Kay as well. Carried a lot of speed there into turn 3.
And one driver we are slowly learning more and more about as this season rolls along is Tyler Logan, who is doing a fantastic job up here running in 3rd. He's had great runs going at every single track, or every single race this season. One of only a handful of drivers to have top 10s in both races this season. And yes, Oz Kennard doing a nice job here. He's not left the top 10 all night.
No, he's done a great job. He just got through on Peterson, dove to the inside there in turn number 3. So he's got some good stuff working for him right now. Oh, Michael Dean, bit of a problem there through turns 1 and 2, on the exit of 2, that is. He loses a couple of positions. Now looking to fight back.
Yeah, I think he had help from Paluota that last time through. Paluota, another driver who started way deeper than he wanted. John Kay under fire from Matt Schlosser for spot number 4.
Oh, and Schlosser nearly clear here. He should be here into turn 3. No, Kay sends it on the outside.
These two did a little bit of battling at Watkins Glen last week. Schlosser got the last laugh there, and he gets it for now up to 4th. Here's Stearns now to the inside of John Kay, who started to head the wrong direction here.
Yeah, Kay needs to get back to his preferred line and get in a little bit of a rhythm. He's kind of getting trapped on the outside here, a la Martinsville. So, yeah, definitely needs to get clear and get back into his rhythm.
Oh, man, big move behind. Oz Kennard tried to send it underneath of JVL. Jan is trying to play offense here. Had to be on defense for just a second.
Kyle Zittel now sends it underneath of Luke Peterson as well. Okay, with a huge wiggle out of turn 4.
Wow, that was almost disaster. Here's Jan underneath. Brody Gunter with a 1-second lead right now over Andy Poliski. This is John Kay going the wrong direction here, but maybe is going to stabilize, at least for now, in the 7th spot.
Yeah, a little bit of a bump
Maybe
there
not.
from Kennard, though. He is still has the pressure mounted on his shoulders right now.
That will definitely unsteady the truck. Bumper cars into turn 1 here at USA.
Something that Kay likes to do, he's really trying to kind of enter in the middle of the corner and then apex through the middle. He's attempting to do that, I believe, to save a little bit of tire and get good turn through the middle of the corner, but that line allows somebody to send it underneath of you on entry, so he's going to have to maybe be careful when he needs to play a little defense.
Jan Van Leer right behind Chad Stearns. Stearns right now rounding out the top 5 runners. It's Poliski, or rather it's Gunter, Poliski, Logan, Schlosser, Stearns, the top 5. Jan Van Leer, John Kay, Oz Kennard, Kyle Zittel, and Luke Peterson, the top 10. At the line this time, it'll be 100 laps to go. I think problems for Garrett Rainey. He looks like he is slow on the track. We're going to stay green.
Yeah, I'm showing Rainey went off the track at some point, maybe down on the grass on the front straightaway. Very similar to what happened to Ryan Dye. We stay green when that happens. Move from Michael Dean. Get around Salamone. Salamone's been stuck on the outside here. Carson Mitchell's running through. He's trying to get himself unlapped at some point here. He's 1 lap down.
Wasn't that truck just upside down?
Nearly upside. It was definitely on the side. It just wasn't on the side down.
Things steadying a little bit here. Everybody close, but nobody making moves just yet. At least in the top 10.
Yeah, still a lot of shaking here towards the back half of the field, right around 20th. Mark Dillon, Tyler Berger, Brantley Gainey, all of these drivers battling. Oh, Kevin Sargent in the mix here as well.
Michael Dean under fire. This is from Carson Mitchell, but like you said, Mitchell 1 lap down. Still showing his pace here, though.
Yeah, Mitchell's still going for it regardless of whether he's a lap down or not. Good battle here between Nathan Reynolds and TJ Bartel as well. Reynolds will best Bartel. Of course, Bartel looks like he has a little bit of damage there to the front end off of his incident earlier. So truck not in optimal shape. Nathan Reynolds continues to move forward, up 19 spots now.
As Kanar had been sizing up John Kay the last couple of laps, now Kanar has faded a bit into the clutches of Kyle Zittel.
Jan Van Leer continues to run right behind Chad Stearns. He's been right up to the bumper a few times. Just hasn't been able to find an opening to make a pass. You really don't want to try to make a move on the outside because you can get yourself trapped. So it's difficult to try to move your way in there. It's almost a mandatory bump and run situation if the person in front of you is running good laps.
Zach Lockett got past Will Salamone a couple laps ago, but he just had to make a humongous save out of turn 2. Watch for just outside of the top 10 right now. Garrett Clark is on fresh tires, and he is proving their advantage at this point. Absolutely carving up the field.
Yeah, for comparison to the leaders, Clark has been about...
K around out of turn 2. Caution is out. I don't think he hit anything. As long as he can get back going, yes. He is going to escape that one. I think, anyway. But the caution is out.
We'll take a look. And you mentioned Gary Clark on the fresh tires. Certainly everybody was going to be coming down pit road here, I'm sure.
I'm sure you're probably right. Field has to do a whole lap to catch up to the pace truck here.
Go ahead and take a look at the incident. John Kay, oh, you can see he's super loose just on the entry there. The rear end kind of slides around on him. He's able to save it, but those tires get hot, and then when he tries to put the power down, those rear tires just go straight around. And you're right, he's able to lock it down. Does not hit the inside wall. That is huge. But now John Kay has a long ways to go through the field to get back to where he was.
Crew Chief Matt Williamson makes the call. Pretty much everybody is on pit road here. I believe Carson Mitchell is going to get the lucky dog. A few other drivers stayed out. I'm sure they're all laps down as well. But Brody Gunter wins the race off pit road. I think Chad Stearns beat Matt Schlosser out of the pits as well, so move Stearns up one more.
What's going to be interesting here is we have some drivers that came to pit on the last pit stop and took tires, and they have elected to stay out.
Pascal Simard was involved in that first incident to bring out the first caution. Has come down pit road a couple of times since then, and like you said, is out here in control of the field. I think he's the only one on the lead lap, however. And a shoe doggy from State Line Sim Racing in the chat. Yeah?
Yeah, this has definitely been hectic. I'm actually showing Carson Mitchell is on the lead lap now, sitting in 4th.
Interesting.
Not sure how that happened.
I am also not sure how that happened. He may have to go with the one to go. He may have to, yep, he's going to drop to the tail of the field here. So
Interesting.
he was going so fast on his wave lap that he actually just passed the entire field. But Pascal Simard with the lead.
For those wondering, John Kay's gone down to 16th after the spin and subsequent pit stop. And we're going to get doubled up here. Eric Clark will take a wave around. I think he's still 1 lap down.
And Austin Holyfield 9 laps down. Will also take the wave around there. So it's Pascal Simard. Started his first race of the season last week at Watkins Glen. Did not make it very far into that race. He's posted some good short track results here. We'll see what he can do on older tires than the rest of the field, but not unchanged tires. Simard with Brody Gunter to his outside, and they are stacking up quite a bit here. 2 and 3 wide all through the field. Simard up the track, might open the door for Poliski to look for the lead underneath.
Oh, Gunter nearly out of the wall. Oh, Stearns gets a shot from Schlosser.
Poliski to the point. Gunter to second, Simard back to third, battling side by side for fourth.
And Poliski with the homage to Ryan Blaney in the 32 paint scheme is looking for some luck from the champion.
The luck has been set on high, but Poliski a bit loose there out of 4. Bit loose as well behind them, battling hard. And now Gunter with a pass to go back up to the lead. Bumping and banging all the way through the field.
Wow, no hesitation from Gunter there. Just slammed it into the inside. And the caution's out again.
Not sure.
Slow on the track. And Paul Sargent entered pit lane, so maybe the two of them got together. Not quite sure.
Well,
we'll try and take a look.
Paul Sargent had a black flag, unfortunately, I think from the restart to serve. May still be related, though. It's a tough pit road entry.
Oh, and actually, it's Garrett Rainey that slides out in front of Kenneth Graves. It stacks up Dumig. Dumig makes contact with Rainey then. Oh, and then Graves on exit of 2, he gets loose. Wow, that was that was quite the incident there.
Yeah, that was a contentious restart, to say the least. I'm sure everybody wants to chill out here for a few pace laps because there was bumping and banging everywhere. And
on cold tires, Graves got up to the top side of the racetrack where there's absolutely zero rubber, and I think I just don't think he had any grip up there when he tried to put the power down.
I can't imagine. But Garrett Rainey, despite that, is going to get the lucky dog.
I'm sure Poliski is begging for a long run here.
Well, on the 2 longest runs that we've seen here today, he's dropped back by a second and a second and a half.
Those
but
weren't
you're right.
real long runs, though.
If we can get one run to the end here, it's going to be interesting to see if Gunter would be able to hold on to it or if Poliski would have his number.
Well, I mean, at this point, I think that's Poliski's only shot. I think Gunter's proven in the short run that he is definitely the fastest here on the track. Maybe other than Carson Mitchell, who just had a bad qualifying effort. But I think Poliski, for him to even have a shot, I think that long run's probably it. Not saying he could get it done, but I don't think the short run is going to be his game here.
Well, I think the other thing that is left, maybe not undecided, because I think it's proving its points. This track is proving difficult to tame. Not going to steal the Darlington tagline, but it has certainly reached out and grabbed a few drivers here thus far.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be an interesting task and a tough one at that. And that's exactly what it's been.
And Brody Gunter, for whatever reason, on Tuesday nights has not had the most luck that you've ever seen. A couple of podium finishes, a couple of top tens late in the season. Last time out, but other than that, especially running up front, has had some pretty crap luck, all things considered. But doing everything in his power to have a good race here.
Yeah, this is the opportunity to turn it around, and commanding the restarts here, that is exactly where you want to be.
And he has been dominant on that front thus far. I'd say he is 5-0 and counting the initial start. And we'll see if he can keep his perfect record here. Good getaway. Yes, indeed. Caught Poliski sleeping. He's under fire from Chad Stearns, who may have something to say about a Gunter walkaway here. Stearns, clear.
Oh, wow.
Poliski fighting back.
Schlosser nearly up into Poliski there on exit. Wow, look at who's up here in the top 10, top 6 actually right now. It's Nathan Reynolds.
Reynolds and Paluota both started 30th or worse, and they are both in here in the top 10. Flinky says he's trying to find the track here in actual Lakeland, Florida.
Poliski fighting back pretty well on the outside here. You're able to when you have fresh tires, but once they start to wear out here after 10 laps or so, it's really tough.
And while they're battling for second, Brody Gunter has checked out. 1 second lead already.
Poliski continues to fight. Reynolds has actually cleared Kyle Zittel on the outside.
These two battling has stacked up pretty much the entire top 10 and more. Reynolds and Schlosser going to cross paths again.
Reynolds continues to run the outside even after he was clear. Very interesting.
Paluota working it up top as well.
Turns almost up into Poliski there, but gets a good drive off.
Trouble. Caution is out again. Michael Dean has found his way into the wall in turn 2. And that is caution number 6 here on lap 78.
Go ahead and take a look. You see Lockett in the 35. He gets loose off a 4, dives down to the inside to save the truck, and decides to stay there. But Dean gets the run here on the outside. And as he enters, he's just loose on entry. And we've seen that a bunch here tonight. Loose on entry is never able to corral it. He fights this thing all the way through turns 1 and 2. And ultimately just can't hang on to it. Just grazes into the outside wall with the back end here. Everybody else does a pretty good job. Borbin narrowly misses. Everybody else seems to get through pretty clean there.
Corey Rutherford gets the lucky dog. We started this race with 35 trucks. It's scary to think we were almost at 40, or we could have very well been at 40. We've got Flanky in the chat here. He's not racing. He named this race. Jeremy McKinnon, right now is in Illinois, oddly enough, which is where you and I are from. Not exactly close to where Jeremy lives. So he's not racing. Eric Breeding, want to point out, came into this race 5th in the points. Wherever you are in the world, Eric was looking forward to a 26 short track run here tonight. So hopefully you're watching or out somewhere living life and living large. But we look forward to seeing you back here at the track soon. But yeah, 35 trucks. And honestly, and things could change. We're just barely into the back half of this race, but this race has not been a total disaster like I maybe thought it was going to be.
No, we've certainly had our fair share of incidents, but yeah, definitely not a total disaster at all. We mentioned Reynolds and Palavota have made their way into the top 10 here.
Insane.
From 30 on back starting positions. John Kay has gotten back into the top 10 after his incident, so he's looking to continue to move forward here. Somebody that was in the top 5 even a little bit earlier, that's Luke Peterson. And he's come on some tough luck here as of late. He's down in 15th now, looking to right the ship and get back on the horse.
And Lindsay G hopped in the chat a little bit ago as well. Hello, Lindsay. Brantley started this race pretty well, but has faded another driver who found their way to the back of the field fairly quickly here in this one. But still a lot of time for Brantley to work up from 19th. And to point out as well, Oz Kennard just outside of the top 10. He's been having a nice run here, but back at 14th now. Jan Van Leer has dropped down to 10th after being in the top 10 most of the night here. So the two Nathans arriving here in the front 5 rows has mixed things up a little bit, as you would expect. And they are going to continue to scratch and claw their way towards the front of this field, the top 2 in points. Going to restart here in 5th and 7th, respectively. Brody Gunter's still in control now. Chad Stearns to his outside. Another good restart here for Brody Gunter.
We're going for the onboard restart here. You can see just how crowded these restarts are and how loose the trucks are.
Oh, John Kay loose, nearly around, and he's still trying to save it. I think he had contact with Zittel to set that in motion. Nathan Reynolds.
Wow, they are 3 wide there in a 3. That was awful close.
Reynolds passes Schlosser to move up to 4th. Poliski gave a door to Stearns into 1 right after the drop of the green. Stearns now taking it back underneath of Poliski, trying to get back to 2nd. Poliski shuts the door.
Yeah, we got a great view of the move that Poliski pulled on Chad Stearns, and Reynolds just had a really great restart. Schlosser struggled a little bit on the outside, so Reynolds was able to get up to 4th there.
And you had mentioned John Kay back in the top 10 after that incident. He has dropped back to 17th. I think Jan Van Leer just cracked the wall at a turn 2 as well, but he has not lost any positions. Again, Brody Gunter already a 2nd lead here.
Tyler Logan right behind Kyle Zittel. This is for 7th. Logan trying to get back into the top 5. But Gunter back out over a 2nd again already.
And just in front of Tyler Logan, Kyle Zittel just ran his fastest lap of the race. His personal fastest, that is.
He moved right up to the bumper of Palavota. So those 3 starting to come together as a caution is out again.
Ryan Dye came out of the pits and immediately picked up a meatball flag. I think Kenneth Graves went for a spin out of 2. That might be the reason we were under caution here. Right around that same time, there was some contact between Carson Mitchell and Brantley Gainey as well. So take your pick here. Everything was happening there.
Well, when the yellow flag flies, Kenneth Graves is not able to be seen And as he comes back to, or his internet does anyways, he is sideways here in turn number 2. So I think that was for Graves.
Yes, it was. Actually, I was able to see him. He is nearly completely sideways and at a complete stop, and Garrett Rainey gets a piece of him on his way by.
Yeah, it's just very much of the same incident that we've had a couple times tonight. Just gets loose on entry, tries to save that thing all the way through the corner, just isn't able to. And then Garrett Rainey, he helps him out there, getting turned all the way around.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much. I always watch the race from the blimp cam. And I will say that the track has become white, which usually means that the cloud coverage is gone and that the track surface would be heating up. Is that the case here? I think we started at 125 or 126.
It's certainly the case. Good eye here, Tommy. 128 now is the track temperature. So we are getting even more hot and more slick.
I mean, at that point, I guess it's just in for a penny, in for a pound. It's not really going to make that much of a difference. It's just hot.
Yes. No question about it.
You ever wonder what drives Florida man to be Florida man? It's probably Florida weather. Just a guess. It ain't all a beach. Ashton Crowder hanging out in the chat. What's happening?
We'll have one more lap around and should be doubling up. Go ahead and go racing.
We've seen some good racing here. This is proved to be a difficult test for sure, but these drivers are putting on a show.
Yeah, I mean, the moves have been, great moves all throughout the field, no doubt about it.
Brody Gunter, right now, looks like he might be taking the top, which I don't think we've seen up to this point. Not from him, at least.
That is interesting, too, because we've seen a lot of drivers with trouble on their entries, more on the top side than anything. So, entry into turn 1 on the top has been pretty tricky for a lot of the drivers. So, you're right. I think that makes it even more interesting that Gunter will take the top.
Maybe just banking on the fact that he's had Poliski clear by at least a truck length, if not more. Just about every time down into turn 1. And again, another stellar restart. Gunter away, Poliski in second. Reynolds now in the mix here to the outside of Chad Stearns for third.
Reynolds has not been afraid to use the outside.
Neither has Paluota right behind him. Chad Stearns trying to fight back on the bottom here, but going to lose third.
Yeah, Reynolds will clear. Ooh, and a little bit of a blink from Gunter. I don't want to say too much here.
Nope. We'll just leave it at that. Oh, Paluota trying to find some room off the wall there, battling side by side with Schlosser to get into the top 5.
Man, Schlosser's been hanging out here in the top 5 all night long. He just hasn't quite been able to fight his way up and stay there. He's fought his way up to the podium position, but just couldn't keep it there.
And Tyler Logan was in the top 5 for the majority of the first half of the race, and now we're under caution again, as I think problems for Tyler Burgert down the back straightaway. And Burgert, a short track guy. And from what I can tell, looks like he's just going to loop it out of 2. And it's those have not been hard to come by here.
Yeah, most certainly not. We've seen it a bunch of times here. But let's go ahead and take a look. Really not too loose on entry. Gets a little bit loose through the middle. It looks like it's pretty steady throughout, and then just as soon as you hit that transition to the straight stretch, I don't know if the rear of the truck just gets really light, but that as soon as they hit that transition, that's where we've seen the incidents most of the time on the exits.
Some takers down pit road here, and a couple of drivers who have had some speed here tonight. Could shake things up strategy-wise, either with a long green flag run or an ill-timed late race caution that brings the field down pit road. In particular, Luke Peterson, Carson Mitchell, TJ Bartell. They may be ones to watch here with fresh tires on lap 98. Paul Ellison, Corey Rutherford, and of course Tyler Bergert also down pit road this time. Could also just as easily mix things up here down the stretch.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, Carson Mitchell has been blazing fast. He just has been very unlucky. But get some freshies on. Going to start deep in the field, but we've seen he's been able to work his way through traffic. He's had no problem making passes here tonight. So I think if anybody can make it up front the quickest, it's probably him. But Bartel's been very good tonight as well.
There's going to be a 38-lap tire life differential between Mitchell, Peterson, and company, and pretty much the rest of the field here, as everybody came down on lap 61.
Yeah, if you remember Gary Clark in that first stint before everybody came down, he had about the same amount of advantage, and he was really slicing and dicing his way through the field. So expect those drivers to have a big advantage here.
But they got to keep themselves out of trouble here, especially on cold tires. It's easier said than done. It's been proven over and over again to this point. The other thing that's been proven over and over again for this entire race is Brody Gunter has been nearly unstoppable on the restarts. And as we start to double up again, he's going to choose the outside for the second restart in a row. Put Poliski underneath of him. Now Nathan Reynolds is going to restart in third. Chad Stearns to his outside in fourth. Row 3, Matt Schlosser on the inside, Nathan Palawota on the outside. Row 4 is Tyler Logan and Kyle Zittel. And row 5, Steve Vroman. I haven't really said his name a whole lot here tonight. He's in the top 10. Jan Van Leer will start to his inside in ninth. Coming to lap 102. Another huge getaway here for Gunter. Here is Stearns to the outside of Poliski.
Interesting, a little role reversal here. It was Poliski that was able to get around Stearns for the initial pass on the outside. Now Stearns has chosen the outside.
Oh, trouble again. I think Zach Lockett has gone for a spin out of turn 2. And there is another caution here. They're starting to stack up. Oh, and we're wrecking under caution. What is happening? Austin Holyfield has gone around. The field, everybody slowed down big time here down the front straightaway. Holyfield had to... go ahead.
Well, Garrett Rainey has a ton of damage here. I don't think he had that previously.
No. Rainey got into the back of TJ Bartell, who had to get into the back of Holyfield, who got into the back of somebody else. I mean, it was a huge stack up.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the first incident here. 3 wide, nearly in front of Lockett. Oh, and Lockett's going to get some help from Cole Maxwell here on this one. And Paul Ellison cannot get out of the way. He's going to take a pretty good-sized hit here as well. And then let's go ahead and just play this on out from here. Watching Garrett Rainey right now. Paul Ellison's working his way around. Oh, and it happens in front. Let's see here. I believe that was around Luke Peterson, maybe. Find a better angle here.
Yeah, Peterson, I think, is going to get run over by
Oh.
Austin Holyfield.
Yeah, Peterson goes to slow down pretty early. Holyfield gets into the back of him. Bartel then in the back of him. And Garrett Rainey into the back of Ellison as Ellison's trying to get checked up. That was just a mess.
You know what they say, that's just short track racing. So, everybody that came down the pits this time, I think, was involved in one of the two incidents. Maxwell, Rutherford, Lockett, Dumig, Holyfield, all on pit road. Rutherford back down for a second time. Not a whole lot changed up front, other than Stearns retaking over the third spot from Nathan Reynolds. Then again, that will put Reynolds on the outside here for this restart. That might be what he wants.
Yeah, Reynolds has enjoyed the outside so far and gets to start behind Gunter, who has been getting very good jumps. And that will allow Reynolds to probably pull even with Poliski on the second lane. Kind of what's been the trend here tonight so far.
Gunter this time going to take the bottom, it looks like.
Interesting.
So, keeping it fresh, maybe keeping himself on his toes here. Has not had to do much defending up to this point, especially on the restarts. They have been his bread and butter. So Gunter, Poliski, Stearns, and Reynolds, by far the hard charger of this race. Schlosser and Palawoda, another hard charger. Your top six. Lap 108 on the board this time. That is probably the best restart from the field thus far. Poliski going to clear Stearns. Hang on to second. Reynolds to the outside of Stearns now for third.
Ooh, Reynolds almost looked a little bit tight there off of two. We haven't seen that much. And now
Jeremy
some
McKinnon
shade.
made it. Oh boy, we were awfully tight back there. Go ahead.
Now some shade has gone over the track.
Double. Back under caution. And I think Carson Mitchell may have been involved again. Yes, indeed. Mitchell trying to grip it and rip it on fresh tires here. It looks like a solo spin out of turn 4. Luke Peterson also, though, picks up a meatball flag here. So maybe there's more to what happened here. Oh, yes, behind Mitchell, there's another crash.
Well, there's the incident from Mitchell. And then I actually didn't have a...
If you back up Carson Mitchell to turn 3, I think he's going to make contact with Borboom. And Borboom is going to sort of stack the field up.
Oh, yeah, Borboom gets hard into the corner, almost runs into Michael Dean, so he tries to shoot the middle. But Mitchell is already there, and you're right, Borboom, he gets loose, tries to contain it, gets into Peterson, and then Clark and Ellison make contact as well. Wow.
So that's 3 of your fresh tire runners there running into some huge problems trying to work their way up through the field. Mitchell, Peterson has a meatball flag. I mean, he's got extensive damage to fix here. And Paul Ellison got a piece of that as well, of course. So maybe sort of dashes a big come-from-behind victory here late in the going.
Yeah, highest runner with the fresh tires that we talked about is Paul Ellison. Came in on lap 97, then Tyler Berger in 21st. Ellison's in 19th. But if we keep getting cautions, these drivers that have only got one set of tires, really don't have to get any. I mean, they're taking a gamble. If they try to come in, there could very likely be some folks behind them that intend to stay out, and that's a guessing game at that point.
There may be hope yet for the field, though, because on that restart, whether it was the line, whether it was the shade that had come over the track there spontaneously, Police had gotten clear of Stearns and was closing in on Gunter. Had him to about 2 truck lengths, which may not sound very close, but that's about as close as anybody's been all night.
With that shade, track temperature down 10 degrees now.
Woo!
Down to 118. I mean, that's a big swing.
We've got a little bit of temper flaring over the radio. You can kind of understand that at this point of the night.
Anytime you have 10 cautions, everybody's going to be a little on edge.
Well, anytime you cram 35 trucks into a track that is less than 1.5 miles, usually something is going to happen.
Yeah.
But again, this has not been as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, never mind less than 1.5 miles. How about less than a mile?
Yeah. These drivers are good. These are just some extraordinarily difficult track conditions in a track that's not exactly suited for this vehicle, and nobody really has a lot of practice on it. It's the perfect storm, but the racing has been good, and the restarts have been good, and they will continue to be good. Brody Gunter, another great getaway. Here is Reynolds now to the outside of Poliski for second.
Poliski, Reynolds, and Stearns have just been flip-flopping and trading these spots. Now Schlosser's gotten himself back up into the top 5 for the time being. Palawoda trying to fight back, but will not be able to. Schlosser shoots it to the outside of Stearns.
Poliski with his eyes up front to Brody Gunter.
Woo! Boy, Schlosser really loose there off the corner.
That was a save. Here's Palawoda to try and capitalize.
Yeah, Palawoda tried to get deep down there in the corner, made some contact with Schlosser, I believe.
Just about had to. Trouble again. Graves, Lockett, Peterson, all around out of turn 2. And what'd you say, caution number 11 now?
That is indeed right.
Garrett Rainey with the meatball flag. It has been a rough night for Garrett. So we're back under the control of the pace car here, as I think Brody Gunter... Nope, he faked me. He's not coming in. I was about to say, I don't think anybody's coming with him. But he didn't go himself.
Go ahead and take a look. Oh, incident happens in front of Kenneth Graves. Some contact between Rainey and I think that's TJ Bartell. Oh, there's a big stack up on the outside, so Rainey tries to shoot it down below. Borboom and Dumig got together. Rainey's trying to not slow down and just shoot the gap down to the inside, but Bartell is right there. He's going to stack him up, and then Graves tries to weave through traffic quickly, and he collects a couple more.
A couple of wrecks tonight. We've had to be forensic scientists more than commentators, I think, to try and trace back the roots of the accident. Chloe Teixeira in the chat. cheering on Jan Van Leer, doing a nice job still in 9th.
Yeah, Jan's been all inside the top 10 all night. He was up to, I don't know if he got into the top 5, but he was certainly close.
Very close.
May have actually gotten to 5th at one point. But he's been right there between 5th and 10th all night long.
So Nathan Reynolds on a huge run here. 32nd to 3rd right now, but it seems like, especially with us not really being able to get a longer run in here than more than a handful of laps, since he's made his way to the front here, we haven't really seen him be able to size up for the top spots here.
Yeah, really hasn't had much of an opportunity, like you said. Him, Chad Stearns, and Poliski have just been fighting for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th on these restarts, and they really haven't had much time to work other than 2 or 3 laps.
Field will double up again. Bertie Gunter looks like he's going to take the outside. Track temp is starting to climb again. We lost our cover there. Gunter and Poliski on row 1, Reynolds and Stearns on row 2, Schlosser, Paluota on row 3, Zittel, Logan, Jan Van Leer, Steve Roman, the top 10, coming to lap 123. And Chad Stearns, or rather Brody Gunter, with an ill-timed blink, stacks the field up on the restart.
Oh, Poliski really loose there through the middle.
Here's Reynolds to 2nd. Schlosser and Stearns battling it out for 4th.
Schlosser's now cleared Stearns. Stearns going to go for a crossover.
They've both used the bumpers to this point. I'm sure they'll only get used more from here on out. Is that big wiggle beyond Van Leer?
Schlosser's really trying to push his way forward, and caution is out again.
I think Kevin Sargent has found some trouble here out of turn 4. That was 2 separate incidents again in one. Sargent with a crash and another crash behind a crash.
Go ahead and back it up a little more. Looks like Kenneth Graves hits the wall into entry of the corner and then makes some netcode contact with Gary Clark. Oh, and then stacking up behind him with Boorboom. Oh, Lockett goes for a spin off of Rainey. And then you see Sargent right there on the infield grass.
I mean, there have been some drivers that have had some rough nights here tonight, but Garrett Rainey and Zach Lockett got to be up at the top of the list. I don't think we've called out Lockett's name a whole lot here, but he has been through the ringer tonight as well.
And then the incident with Sargent, looks like he tries to shoot it 3 wide, or he thinks he's clear of Ellison, and Ellison just dives it in further than Sargent does. So Sargent's leaning on Samard. Oh, and I think he heated up the tires on entry there, and off of exit, he just gets loose. I can't believe that wasn't more than it was. That was a hairy situation as well.
Well, we are an hour and 10 minutes into this race now. Working caution number 12, is that right?
That is correct.
So it's starting to creep up there, caution-wise. We're not done with it yet. Remember, 3 opportunities for overtime here. But Jan Van Leer over the radio said as much, and you and I have said it multiple times as well. The racing in the top 10 has been good. It's just been tough sledding to get some laps in here in the back half of this race.
Well, you know, the top 10, they've all been able to get strewn about, I guess.
Strewn?
Yes, whatever.
That's close enough.
You know what I'm trying to say. They've been able to get separated. That's what we're looking for. There in the back half of the field, not so much. It has been Plinko, bumper cars, whatever you want to call it. That's what it's been. Pinball, all of the above. It's definitely been tough. There, you said tough sledding. It's about like Clark Griswold and Christmas Vacation. Down the hill, across the road. That's what it's been like there in the back of the field.
Florida State Fair bumper cars, says Matt Williamson. And yeah, it's tough. The first few laps after the restart, some cloud cover at least in 1 and 2. And maybe it'll stay this time. Anything to help alleviate some of these drivers' suffering. Coming to 131, so 20 laps to go, at least in regulation here. Gunter, and now Nathan Reynolds. See what Reynolds can do with a crack here from the front row. Another good start from Brody Gunter, but Nathan Reynolds with a good answer.
Yeah, much better start for Reynolds here in second. Really one of the best starts from second all night.
He's 2 truck lengths clear of Andy Poliski. They're battling behind Poliski here. Stearns back underneath of Schlosser. Jan Van Leer underneath Kyle Zittel.
Yeah, they're 2 by 2 for a few rows. Your Palavoda and Logan side by side as well.
Palavoda going to make the pass stick here off the top, and we're back under caution here for the 13th time. Cole Maxwell nosed into the wall in turn 3. It's like a hard shot. I think Maxwell with help from Mark Dillon Jr. on this one as they battled. They just missed that backstretch opening there. It was awfully close. I was wondering if anybody was going to get close to that.
Well, we're 3 wide here with Rutherford, Maxwell, and Dillon. I think Maxwell's moving up the track to try to give Rutherford some room. And Dillon was right there. Either that or Maxwell thought he was clear. Not sure which, but regardless, up hard into the wall. Dillon hard into the wall as well. Multiple hits for both of them. That U.S. Postal Service truck is going to look about like Kramer and Newman's truck in Seinfeld when they get golf clubs thrown at them.
Does that one end with it on fire?
It certainly does, and this one might not be any different.
I don't think so. Get Rainey with another wave around. I think he's back on the lead lap again. I mean, I would have thrown in the towel if I was having a night like Garrett Rainey had long ago, but he's continuing to stick it out here, so big ups to driver 13.
Well, there's only going to be about 14 laps left. He sees the light at the end of the tunnel, and he just wants to finish this thing, I think.
They all do. The light at the end of the tunnel here for Nathan Reynolds looks pretty good, I would imagine. After starting in 32nd, he has an opportunity to finish on the podium, if not take this win. He might be able to take it to Brody Gunter here in the closing laps. Let's take a quick look through the field here. Gunter with the lead, Reynolds in second, Poliski in third, Matt Schlosser fourth, Chad Stearns in fifth, Kyle Zittel sixth, Jan Van Leer seventh, Nathan Palawota eighth, Tyler Logan right now in ninth, and I do believe Brantley Gainey will round out your top 10. John Kay right now, good recovery for him, just outside of the top 10 in the 11th. Will Salamoni in 12th. Steve Roman, Oz Kinar, and Paul Ellison the top 15. Pascal Simard 16th. Carson Mitchell 17th. Michael Dean, Tyler Bergert, and TJ Bartell through the 20th position. 29 trucks on the lead lap here, coming to a restart with 13 laps to go, or will be 13 to go at the line. Jan Van Leer says, let's keep it clean. We deserve a good finish. I say keep it above the belt. It's short track racing. Does Reynolds have anything for Gunter? Not a great restart that time for Reynolds. Under fire already from Poliski. Poliski with some help there from Stearns.
Big move from Zittel as well. Zittel gave Stearns a little bit of a shot also.
JDO gets the door shut.
If Poliski and Reynolds continue to fight, Gunter's going to run away with this one.
He may have already. Hard telling. Oh, I hear spinning. We're under caution again. Oh boy, that is a pretty big stack up there. Rutherford, Peterson, I think Gary Clark got a piece of that as well. I think Jan Van Leer may have been involved as well. Man, that is going to suck if that's true. Tyler Logan over the radio says that one was on me.
That looks like quite a few trucks. One of the biggest incidents of the night. Go ahead and go to the replay. Logan behind Jan Van Leer here. Jan dips out, trying to get good entry into the corner, and Logan just absolutely sends it. He has a little bit of help from John Kay as well, but I think the contact was going to happen regardless.
Yeah, I think that was already set in motion by the time John Kay made the contact. Jan not happy over the radio. Tyler, with an apology, says he knows it was bad.
And you see a bunch of people getting stacked up on the bottom after the incident. Peterson was there.
I mean, Jan was having a great night. He's had a good season up to this point. I think coming into the night was tied for 6th in the points. And this is a huge blow, especially now with 28 trucks on the lead lap. He's still on pit road as the field is coming by.
Yeah, I mean, that's an entire night of, hard work to keep those positions, stay out of trouble. And, man, you just really, really hate to see it not come to fruition.
But there's still laps on the board here. There could potentially be even more laps than what we see on the board here. So some hope, maybe.
I think it's pretty likely.
I also think it's very likely. I also want to point out, I think we've jinxed this race in several drivers 3 times tonight, so I think we're batting above our average.
I think everybody's batting above average here, knocking them out of the park. So,
well, I know for sure I've jinxed Ryan Dye within 5 seconds of me saying it. He got wrecked out of this race. Jan Van Leer took 2 laps after I pointed him out, and he's wrecked and towards the back of the field. There's got to be somebody else. So definitely an above-average night for us. Oh, yeah, there was me pointing out the 3 drivers that had just pit for fresh tires, and they all 3 were involved in the same accident. So there's 5.
All right, you've proven your point.
Well, I got a lot of apology letters to write after this one, I think, is the point I'm trying to make. Gunter back on the inside. Reynolds needs a better restart than he had last time.
Yeah, Reynolds likes this outside position, I think, for the restarts, so. Not the best one last time, but he likes it.
Here we go. 6 to go. Good getaway from Reynolds and Gunter.
Oh, police
man.
Almost stuffs it in there. He has to check up. Schlosser's gotten clear. Oh, Kyle Zittel sends it into Stearns.
Five to go.
Here comes Schlosser and Stearns. Everybody all stacked up here. Stearns, great run here out of 2. He'll dive to the inside of the... Oh, no! Big contact for Logan.
Okay, continues. More contact for him. Caution is back out. That contact started with John Kay. I'm not sure who else. I think maybe Brantley Gainey made contact with John Kay to set that one in motion. Tyler Logan gets the worst of it, but John Kay, unable to slow down, piles back into Brantley Gainey in turns 3 and 4.
Oh, let's go to the replay. This is through turns 1 and 2 here. See Gainey working up on the top in the 22, Kay behind. Oh, and Gainey, I don't know if he makes contact with the outside wall or if he just gets really loose, but anyways, he gets loose regardless right in front of John Kay. I don't think he makes contact. I think he actually gets loose when he tries to pull the truck off of the wall. So Kay's going to pile in here and then tries to move down the track where he makes contact with Logan. That was a little bit of what Jeremy was talking about in chat earlier with the weight transfer when Gainey tried to pull that truck off the wall. All the weight got onto that left side, and the truck did not like it at all. And we'll go ahead and take one more look. We can see what happens with John Kay. Oh, and yeah, big contact with Gainey after that. He had to go through the grass. He couldn't really get slowed down. A little bit of contact with Carson Mitchell as well.
So Gainey and Kay get to keep their positions here. They'll start in 8th and 9th, Carson Mitchell in 10th. We are officially into our first of 3 overtime periods. I do believe Brody Gunter has led all but maybe 3 or 4 laps of this race. But Nathan Reynolds is getting better and better on these restarts at just the right time to maybe make it interesting here. Andy Poliski and Matt Schlosser will line up on the second row here and talk about a great follow-up effort to his surprising / not surprising win a couple of weeks ago at Watkins Glen. Matt Schlosser has knocked it out of the park here. Again, has had great runs on short tracks in Truck 200, but bringing it over to the big boys here in the Venom Truck Series as well and doing a fantastic job. Chad Stearns has been in the top 5 pretty much all night. He will restart in 5th with Kyle Zittel to his outside in 6th. And those are going to be the players here in the closing couple of laps. As Gunter going to elect the inside this time.
Yeah, and you mentioned Schlosser. I think anytime a rookie in the league wins a race early in the season, it's just a surprise, no matter who it is, really. But Schlosser, as we already know here at Turn 200, no slouch at all.
Certainly not. Just outside of the top 10 coming into the night in the points. Looking to come away with a top 10 berth here. But Gunter wants to join Schlosser on the first-time winner train. Gunter with 2 to go. Reynolds with a great restart. Reynolds going to pull into line.
Oh, boy.
Wow, big stack up behind them. Diddle and company lose out big time. Can we make it back to the stripe? John Kay on the move on this restart. Brody Gunter to the line. 1 lap to go.
Contact between Schlosser and Poliski. Poliski loses that spot and now is under fire for more.
They're wrecking in 2. After losing out at Watkins Glen, this time Brody Gunter will not be denied. Florida man wins it in Florida. Brody Gunter is a winner with the Venom Truck Series. Nathan Reynolds, Matt Schlosser round out the podium. Absolute chaos to be sorted out there on the final lap. But Brody Gunter, long time coming. After being denied twice at Watkins Glen, Gunter gets it done here in his home state at USA International. In absolutely dominant fashion to add. For Nathan Reynolds, I don't think it's a record, but it's mighty damn impressive. Up 30 spots tonight. And what a follow-up performance for Matt Schlosser. He'll have back-to-back Booth 200 interviews on Tuesday.
Oh, look at this move from Brody Gunter.
Get a little moonwalk action in. And Corey Rutherford of the chat cheering on his teammate. Yep, that's a win for work in progress.
And Gunter is going to let it explode.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we could find a replay of, I don't know if you got anything there in the final lap there in turn 2. It seemed like there was a really big stack up. I don't know if we've got anything for that or not.
I know there was one there on the initial restart. Zittel went way high with some others. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. Go ahead and just go to the blimp cam here. Oh, yeah, huge stack up. I believe that's Gainey and Mitchell. Zittel just went way too high. He's way wide. Contact with Kay and Salamoni as well. And they continue to stack up throughout. Steve Roman gets pounded into down in turns 3 and 4 as well. Oh, and then the big stack up happens here. Let's see.
Looks like Carson Mitchell.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys here. I think it's Gainey in front of Mitchell, along with Roman, Salamoni. They're all in here.
Yeah. Everybody that's not in the top 7 is in this wreck, pretty much.
Ellison, the Samards there. Yeah, I mean, lots of folks are involved. Oskanar, Bartel. Carson Mitchell gets the real bad end of the stick. He goes completely around. Oh, and Bartel gets run into by Samard as Samard's trying to get it back rolling as well.
Oh, man. Well, chaos late. We'll go ahead and roll into our full field finishing rundown. It's the first career win, back-to-back first-time winners. Brody Gunter takes USA International. Nathan Reynolds up 30 positions here tonight. We'll finish in second. Matt Schlosser will be in booth 200 here momentarily. He rounds out your podium. And a great follow-up effort to his win. Andy Poliski and Chad Stearns round out your top 5. Nathan Palawota brings the 6 home in P6. Nice run for the points leader, although I don't think he's the points leader anymore. John Kay, despite everything that happened to him tonight, is going to get a season-best 7th place finish. Kyle Zittel will hang on for 8th. Will Salamone sneaks back into the top 10 there at the end, finishes 9th. Brantley Gainey rounds out your top 10. Steve Roman, Paul Ellison, 11th and 12th. Michael Dean in 13th. Mark Dillon Jr. in 14th. And Oz Kinar, maybe not going to be overly happy about a 15th place finish. He was in the top 10 most of this race. Kyle Dumig in 16th. Luke Peterson back to 17th. Tyler Berger in 18th. Cole Maxwell, and one driver that I know is not happy, Jan Van Leer, down in 20th. Not a representative finish at all. Ryan Borbim in 21st, Kenneth Graves 22nd, Pascal Samard, Paul Sargent, Tyler Logan, your top 25. Another driver that was in the top 10 most of the night falls out of it at the end of the race. TJ Bartel rather in 26th. Gary Clark, Carson Mitchell back to 28th. Garrett Rainey, the last truck I think running, in 29th. Then Corey Rutherford, DNF in 30th. Zach Lockett, 31st. Kevin Sargent, 32nd. Austin Holyfield, Ryan Dye, Ethan Patterson with some early exits all the way down through 35th. Well, we've kept him waiting. We'll go ahead and now bring in Matt Schlosser. He's going to get back-to-back Tuesday interviews here. Your winner a couple of weeks ago, rather, at Watkins Glen. Now we'll bring it home on the podium here tonight at USA International. You were in the top 5 to start this race. I don't really think you ever left. And for a race that had a lot of comers and goers, you were pretty consistently up front here. So nice job.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely seemed like the kind of race you wanted to cling to the front as much as you could. I didn't want to fall back in traffic. In practice, I wasn't great at making passes, so I was like, if I can just kind of hang around the front, hopefully stay there and just kind of sneak in to the top 5 or top 10. So it worked out pretty good and got a good couple last restarts. It was a little crazy there at the end. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, happy and lucky to come home third.
Matt, what do you got for Matt?
Well, congrats on the P3. He had to work a lot of restarts there at the end. And what was your preferred line? It seemed like you were running the outside really good a lot of the night. Was that kind of where you wanted to be to make passes, or was that just kind of circumstance?
Yeah, I have to admit I didn't calculate it out too much. I was just kind of like, all right, I'm up here I got stuck on the outside a couple of times, and I was able to kind of hold on. Like, I had some good battles with Chad Stearns. Shout out to him for racing me really clean, and a couple other guys, Nathan, Andy. So yeah, it was. To answer your question, yeah, I liked the outside once I kind of got up there. I feel like I got passed on the bottom a few times, but towards the end, the outside was in the beginning, but towards the end, the outside was pretty good for me, I think.
I mean, back-to-back podiums for you. Really good job here tonight. Anybody want to shout out or say hello to here?
Yeah, shout out to my teammate Zach. Shout out to Turn 200. Shout out to Venom. Shout out to everybody in the league, all the admins and everyone. So, and shout out to this track. I like this track. I wish it still existed. Cool place.
Definitely. I'm sure there are a few drivers that are cursing it here after this one, but I mean, it had some pretty fun racing, and you were in a lot of that fun racing here tonight. So, best of luck to you next week, and good job here tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think I ran my first ever like street stock race here on the sim, so maybe it has a special place in my heart. I don't know, but yeah, cool track. Yeah, thanks, guys.
I concur. I think a lot of us ran one of our first races here at USA.
Most certainly. I cut my teeth on the dirt before the asphalt.
True. Yes, there is a dirt config here. Maybe that'll be on next season's schedule. But while we contemplate that horrible thought, we'll go ahead and bring in your second place finisher. And not a record, but a hell of a drive. Plus 30 tonight for the Intimidator, the reigning series champion, Nathan Reynolds. Holy hellacious. Nice drive.
Thanks, guys. That was definitely had our work cut out for us.
Well, I mean, obviously everybody put in the time in qualifying, 35 drivers. So what went wrong for you?
Hit the wall. I threw away my first lap just because the track temperature was so hot, and it's just a risk you take. You try to go for it. You throw away a lap away and set up for your hot lap. You got to nail it, and I didn't nail it. I had a time that probably would have been. I'm not going to say it would have got the pole, but it would have been up there competitive for it, and we clipped the wall and disallowed it.
Well, I certainly will allow you the benefit of the doubt, seeing as you've won the most poles in Venom Truck Series history, and both the poles coming into tonight. So, yeah, 32nd place. How do you pick your way through a minefield here?
It's patience. When anxiety is at its highest, it's so hard to. It's easier when you get on these tracks and you're spread out, in these bigger speedway tracks, which even some of those have not been the best showing for us. But these short tracks, even more so, are just their excitement and door to door and a lot tighter quarters. So the tension level, anxiety level, whatever you want to say, is a lot higher. So the patience level is also a lot lower, and you feel like you have to go because track position is so important. And honestly, we were just fortunate enough that we got long enough green flag runs to where it could kind of play into our hands and we could kind of control our own destiny. Otherwise, we would probably been playing that track position game all race long on restarts, trying to restart on the top or the bottom and move forward a little and move back a little. So thankfully we got those long runs to where we could be ourselves, be patient, and show some speed.
Matt, what do you got here?
Well, congrats on the great drive, as Tommy said, throughout the field. Coming down to the restarts, you had a lot of chances there for restarts at the end. It seemed like you really liked that top side for the restarts. Was that kind of the preferred line you were looking for, or was there something else that you would have preferred?
Yeah, whenever the tires cool down, as they were hot and the run was going on, you definitely wanted to be on the bottom, kind of wrapping the bottom because it got slick up top. But as the tires had a chance to cool down under yellow, oh my gosh, our chat's blowing up. As the tires cooled down under yellow, you kind of you could be up there and make it work because the tires were cool, so it's harder to stick, and the bottom didn't get as much forward drive if you had somebody up top pinching. So we were able to make it work, but after 3 or 4 laps, it kind of starts to give in as the tire temperatures start to even out, and you're running up top, you're going to heat your tires up a little faster. So you got that advantage for a few laps, and just the way the cautions were falling, it worked to our advantage. If we went on any longer there, I think Andy was going to leapfrog back by us, and then we were able to get him back in the same scenario.
What a drive. Not that I didn't expect something like this, but I mean, it's always impressive to see somebody go up 30 spots from where they started, especially, not in length of time, but in terms of laps, really not that long of a race. So really nice work here tonight. I know you got people you want to shout out and thank here, so we'll leave you to it.
Yeah. I'm sure these guys probably don't want to hear what I have to say, but I was kind of hoping at one point the race was going to be a little longer, thinking I'd need a little extra time. So I'm glad it wasn't now. But big shout out to NitroRacing.com, all those guys over at Nitro Racing Setups. You guys know you guys have the link for it's iRacing Super Speedway. You wouldn't think that it's that important when it's a super speedway, but there's a lot of things that factor into making you fast at super speedways, especially if you go in it with a team like Nitro and you got a pusher and somebody out front, and they're really good about getting in there and just trying to dominate the week. RJ, it's NASCAR off season now, and there's a lot of spots to be filled, and I've been in contact with him and throw him some bones, and he's telling me some stuff. There's some exciting things heating up that just keep your eyes peeled to NASCAR Report on Instagram and Twitter. Of course, my wife taking care of us. I've been a little under the weather with my kids as they bring absolutely everything home from school. Anybody with kids knows how that is. You stay sick all the time. My wife's been taking real good care of us, so I love her and appreciate her for that. Thank you guys for the broadcast and everything y'all do.
Absolutely. Shout out to all the sim wives and sim moms. All the best to you and yours here. Rest up. We'll hope to talk to you again here next week in Phoenix.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate it. Hope so.
And to point out as well, Nathan Reynolds and Nathan Palawoda now tied for the points lead out of USA. And the driver that is third in the points is celebrating his first career victory here on Tuesday nights. That is the one and only reigning ASRL sports car champion, Brody Gunter. Finally on the top step here. It's been a long time coming here, even though it's only start number 11 for you. Congrats on win number 1.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, finally got it.
I mean, you've dominated both Watkins Glen races that we've had and did not get representative finishes. I mean, I think you led all but 3 or 4 laps here tonight. I mean, this was an absolute spanking if there ever was one at a short track.
Yes, so I definitely felt like it kind of was, although Andy and Nathan did give me a run for my money. But cool, I do it at my home track too, as this track's only like I think hour away from me. Or would have been.
Well, yeah, I was going to say this warehouse is an hour away from you now, but
Yeah.
The thing, other than of course, anytime we got a run more than 10 laps, you were more than a second ahead of the rest of the field. But of course, I don't know if you noticed, we had a couple of race starts tonight. You like to mix it up a lot, picking the top line, picking the bottom line, and every time, no matter what, pretty much, it seemed like you got a great getaway. I mean, what was the thought process behind that? Because it worked.
Mostly communicating with Andy. We were trying to kind of keep us 1 and 2, so I was trying to work out to get him stay in front of the rest of the field. But yeah, I just felt like I was somehow amazingly. Everyone was talking about they had to start in third gear, and I had so much grip in second gear. I guess I was just being so precious with the gas pedal, like there was a egg underneath it. But I apologize. Probably the one where I blinked on it. I did not realize that until like turn 2, and everyone told me.
You know, if I think that one may have come under a little more scrutiny if it weren't surrounded immediately by 4 cautions before it and 6 cautions after it. So I think that was less on you than you may think. Matt, what do you got here for Brody?
Yeah, I mean, huge congrats on the win. Like Tommy said, finally get it done here. Coming into tonight, have you ran many laps here at this pavement configuration of USA, and kind of what were your expectations, I guess?
I don't know, expectations is hard to really figure out, as I've only done, like you said, a few races with these guys, so I don't really know who's good at where and how good. But I feel like I could have done decent, as this is more like my wheelhouse with short tracks. But I've ran a good amount of laps. This is my first race in the truck, but I've probably logged 100 practice laps before practice. In like separate occasions.
Well, whatever it takes to get it done. You get your first career pole, your first career win, lead the most laps here tonight. I mean, an outstanding performance. Headed into another shorter track, I believe, next week. I think we're at Phoenix. You're third in the points. Got to be feeling pretty good at where you're at this point of the season.
Yes, so definitely. I would love to see what it'd been like if I could have won Watkins Glen, because that would have been a third first for me this season so far.
Yes. Yeah, but still, putting in a fantastic clip here to open things up. Let's get some shout-outs going for you. We hear them on Wednesdays. It's good to get you on the top step here on a Tuesday.
Yes, so I got to thank CGI Graphics for this beautiful truck, as well as Mullet Music Productions and Work in Progress Racing and Broke Guy Racing.
Well, good work, man. Keep it up. We'll be talking to you again here soon, but go party down here with this one.
All right, thank you guys.
Well, we knew it was coming eventually, but with a performance like tonight, Brody Gunter was not going to be denied. An absolutely dominant performance. I would imagine with the overtime finish, he came pretty close to leading 150 laps. Not 100% of the laps, but pretty dang close. Your thoughts to wrap up a wild one here at USA?
Well, wild one's about all I can say. It took the words right out of my mouth, but pretty entertaining there up towards the front. So good on the folks to keep putting on a show, and man, some really great drives from drivers all throughout the field, not just from Nathan Reynolds. Nathan Palawoda was up 24 spots. That's a hell of a drive as well. And others had really great runs too. I think Ellison was up maybe 11 or 12 spots as well. So really great stuff throughout the field here tonight. I want to give a shout out to everybody that was watching here. Jacob Nagy was in the chat earlier. Shout out to Nagy. Ryan Dye, Lindsey G, Flinky Roberts, Jeremy McKinnon, Ashton Crowder was hanging out for a little while. Chloe Teixeira cheering on Jan. Man, that's just a tough situation for him. Corey Rutherford and Sean K hopping in here towards the end as well. So thank you to you guys who came in and hung out with us here tonight. We appreciate it. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit like on the stream. We would greatly appreciate it.
You mentioned Palawoda and Paul Ellison having big runs through the field here. Kyle Dumig also went up 17 spots from where he started tonight. So shout out to Kyle Dumig as well for his best finish of the season. Good stuff here. That is just about going to do it for us here tonight. We'll hope to see you back here tomorrow with the ASRL Sports Car Championship from Monza Combined. Yes, it is going to be another long lap, wild race from Monza Combined, this time with the chicanes, I do believe. So that'll mix it up a little bit, but some fantastic stuff. And that is also Brody Gunther's pick as the champion. So Monza Combined tomorrow night with ASRL. Thursday night, Maximum Velocity Racing League. Get ready for more of this, I do believe, because we are at Martinsville. So take this 0.75 mile paperclip and shrink it down to a half mile and put the championship on the line too. Why not? So then on Sunday afternoon, we are somewhere with the Mission R Challenge. Do you remember where we are? Yes, I remember where we are. We're at Lime Rock Classic Config for Sunday afternoon with the Mission R Challenge. That'll be exciting. Again, nothing on Monday just yet, but we will have something there soon. And then next Tuesday, I do believe, like I mentioned a couple of times, that we are at Phoenix. Let me actually scroll up to the schedule and stop being lazy and actually look at it. And indeed, it's the Turkey Trot 125, relocated from IRP, this time to Phoenix. So 125 laps at the dogleg configuration of Phoenix. And I do believe that is the sunrise race for this season as well. So a lot to look forward to here in the next week on Turn 200. We thank you all very much for coming and hanging out with us here tonight. For everybody with the Venom Truck Series, for the one and only, the goated goat, Mr. Matt Williamson, our Turn 200 Florida man, I'm Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from USA International Speedway, where Brody Gunter absolutely dominates a chaotic race here at the short track.